Welcome back. This is a video about setting up a writing activity. So this is where Scribo is really quite unique. We don't ship with a whole bunch of essays that you have to use because the scoring's all twined into it, and it's all set in an expert way that you don't have any input into. We are as open as a book, so you can engage your students with any level of activity and sort of construct in writing that you want to, and it's called add an activity. So everything that students do, like Mediterranean World or tobacco is bad or whatever it is, it's a writing piece and it's called a writing activity, and you can add them as many times or as much as you like. From a library, we've got a library from scratch. Using our AI bot is the most fun. It's the way to get the quickest results. So let me show you. Let's go. We want to get our students writing just about to see how they write and give them an opinionated piece on the impact of social media on young people. Let's say it's an informative piece. We'd like 300 words and we'd like them to have a go at 4 paragraphs. So, a decent piece of writing for maybe a year 7 or 8. Now, obviously, if they're the littlies, we can take it down to 200. So for year 5 or something like that, year 6. We typically start at year 3. I mean, you can make this as simple as you like. So let's leave everything else by default because there's a bit to get through there. There's lots of configurations that you can very easily change once you get some momentum and you understand how it's working. So just generate a writing prompt. Now our LLM, hard to say, Scribo will give you some prompts that you can put up on the board. Say, who wants to write about prompt 2? Who wants to write about prompt 1? They very quickly read it and sign up for what they think they can buy into. So you can do that if you like, or you can just simply pick prompt 1. We've got all the keywords down the bottom here. So we use this prompt. We'll leave model answer behind for a minute, but we'll definitely talk about scaffolds. So hit go. So I'm not editing the video here, so I'll talk the way through this to show you the speed of it. What we're going to do is come up with the activity on the left-hand side and the scaffold on the right-hand side. Now, this is a fully multimedia panel. You could add videos into here. You could translate this into local language. A lot of things you can do in here to sort of like structure a starting point for students. So, I've often watched students having to write with a blank piece of paper. It's really soul destroying. If you can give them a framework they can tick off and they can follow, you're going to get a better result, a more structured and sort of like well-led result. On the left-hand side is what we just created for you. Now these are all the parameters that we can start modifying. So if you're happy with the scaffold, let's assume that you are, you simply close that. Now we've got the meat of the activity. Now we've set one up ready to go. So if that's all you wanted to do, you could hit the assign button, send it to your class, students are writing, we're done. So I spoke too much, but you could get a writing activity done in a class in under 30 seconds and have them working on it straight away with an activity with a scaffold. You can save it to your library so you can come back to it later, or you can keep going. So I'll just keep going and take you through some of these. Now, here's the top level. Informative, the genres, we obviously vary our feedback based on genre. So let's stick with informative. The subject and year, well, we can do better than demo. We could call it English. Why not? And the year. So the year drives the feedback. So you tell us what year the students are in, or what year this essay is pegged to, not what year the students are in. I made a mistake there. We'll deal with the feedback based on this. So there's options. The student experience. Now, cold write means no help whatsoever. They get a blank screen. Typical writing scenario. We want to see how bad they are. We don't want grammar support. We want to get a benchmark using a cold write. A writing check exposes them to all this lovely feedback that I've just been showing you in earlier videos. If they're littlies, let's turn off vocabulary, cohesion, sentences, things that might upset them or confuse them. Turn them off. Depending on your class, turn them on. Okay, so you can vary the sorts of feedbacks that we're getting. If you don't want them cutting and pasting slabs, all of these are very self-explanatory. And if you'd like some dyslexic support where they can talk their essay, that's fine too. They have to have a Chrome browser to do that. Okay, and of course you can create a model answer. We'll skip anything that takes a bit more time. Okay, Scribblet is a different interface to Writing Check. It's a more primary based interface, and Challenge doesn't tell you what the problem is, but it tells you there's a problem. So you have to figure it out yourself. Planning, scaffolding. Now we've just built a scaffold. Here's your chance to add to it, change it, etc. We also have writing plans. Now you will find many writing plans in here. Now these may be familiar to you, maybe not. Peel, eel, teal, teal, tell. These are all PEAL. These are all writing structures, writing plans, like cause and effect. We want a thesis statement. We want cause one, effect one, cause two, effect two. This is a planning document for students to work out their essay plan before they start writing. So we can include writing plans. They are different to scaffolds. One enforces the structure, other one is giving them a heads up as to what they could be talking about. Okay, two different scenarios, but it's up to you to turn one on, one off, whichever one you want. Researching. Do you want citations? We cater for quite a few types of citations, but we've limited it to four. Okay, so that's in the higher grades. You might want to turn that on. Halo, I'm going to come back to in another video. That's sensational. And as we go down here, we'll go into grading and feedback. Now, this is where you can plug in your rubrics. Okay, the rubrics that we set up, like the PTE rubric, it's there. So if I turn that on, I'm turning off Scribo score. If I want Scribo score, I turn that on, I turn my rubric off. Now, this is really powerful. This is called writing goals. Now, this will give students additional feedback to the standard Scribo structural feedback. And as you can see, we've got lots of distance that we cover here. Now, they're called writing goals because these are really goals that you want students to achieve. You want them to have a look at how they could get better. You want them to look at three ways they could improve. You might want to look at the response on topic. Now, it depends on who you're talking to. If we're talking to higher levels and we're trying to really nail some structure, we might include Peel. So this is all feedback that our AI is going to start creating and personalizing for each student based on the parameters that you set. So really important point here. You are the teacher in the loop. We are not running away with AI feedback that you don't know about. You're turning it on. We're just doing the hard work for you. So writing goals are sensational, and you can add them in anytime you like. You can vary them per student. It's a great way to really personalize some really good feedback without having to get too involved in the way it's built. Save a heck of an amount of time and get students what they need. Standards. If you are in America, we've got every state standard that you need to have across language, science, and social studies. Now we've done this for other countries as well. So we've got Canada, we've got Indonesia, we've got Australia as well. But if you have your curriculum standards that you want to link into the system, pass them over. You'll find they'll turn up here, and we'll auto assess against standards. So it's a matter of collecting or ticking off the standards that you're interested in grading against, and that's the full cycle of setting up an activity. It's all about you. These are all the parameters we can turn on, off. You don't have to worry about half of them if you don't want to. You can just get students writing with good feedback. You can make it more summative in nature. You can make it more formative in nature. You can change your grading experience. It's really a piece of work that you can get the hang of quickly and tailor very quickly. So what we'll do here is I'll assign that to my class straight away. You'll go to my demo class. Now, if I had Google Classroom and all those things linked into it, of course, I can do that as well. I could send it out to Google Classroom in one more click. I'll come up with my Google classes and off it'll go to Google Classroom. So we don't have to get students, wondering how to log into Scribo. Although it's very simple, you can drive them through the Google Classroom experience. Okay, so that's easy to do. Some schools use WhatsApp as the LMS. So there's a lot of choices in here, and you can obviously assign to an LMS as well. Enforcing due dates. You can say it has to be handed in on Monday or not. Okay, so really, we've got our little activity underway here now. So on a student side, we're going to come into it. We're going to have a nice picture that we've defaulted for you. The impact of social media on young people is ready for them to work on. So end to end, this could happen in about 15 to 20 seconds. You create the activity and say, okay, everybody start writing. Over here, we're getting a jumpy for you because we've got a writing plan for you to use and we've got a scaffold for you to look at. So we're all set. Students are all set. They start writing, you start watching. So as soon as they start writing in here, you are watching in here. And looks like no one started yet. So there's a call to action. So that is getting an activity very quickly set up, initially by using the bot, and then extending your options using your own sort of gumption and how you want to run this. We don't tell you what to do. We're simply here to help you do what you do. Thanks for listening. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.